What's up, guys? I'm Steve, as many of you know,
I'm Shayla.
and we are going to bring you guys a little video series about prenatal, what she went through, during the time that she was pregnant, and then we're going to go through some things that she's um, done postnatal. And right now, you are,
7 weeks postpartum. It's definitely been an adventure, that's for sure. We've altered everything as far as eating things. Food aversions when pregnant were crazy. So a lot of things that we were eating, like ground turkey. If he would eat ground turkey around me, it would make me sick. Like I would have to go throw up. And it took a while to recover from that. And we slowly, in the third trimester, I think, started bringing that back in. But before that, I had so many food aversions. It was kind of hard to
yeah, it was,
meet goals with that. So he can tell you all kind of a little bit more involved with that. That's what we did.
yeah, in the first part of it and into the second. I think the second, if I remember right, was the hardest because she could barely eat anything. Just had a really hard time with smell, taste. Just it's something that you know I was. It was hard for me to understand like how you could go from eating everything that she did, which is what she's doing now, from like turkey meals to egg whites to all the healthy stuff. But she absolutely wanted nothing. There was no cravings, and just healthy food in general was at that time in that second trimester was just completely gone. So it was definitely an experience for me as well, seeing how someone's body can go from, like I said, where she was at to the point she got to in that second trimester, which was hard for her. I know it was super hard for her, and then me just feeling bad for her. It 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 just makes you appreciate, like for me, appreciate her much more, that much more during her pregnancy and what she went through, because I know that it was extremely hard. So what we're here to do is just, a lot of people out there do not know what it's like to go through pregnancy. You hear so many stories about this or that, but what we want to do is just give it to you straight. And being fresh off the pregnancy, and us
Mm-hmm.
as deep into fitness as we are, we want to put it out there kind of like in a different perspective and answer those questions that any of you may have, when it comes to what can you do, how should you eat when you're pregnant, um, can you work out while you're pregnant, what do you do once once you've had your little one, um, what's the proper things you can do to keep yourself safe, but also when you're eating, to keep your baby healthy as well, because from my understanding, and I know that she's read and watched tons of videos about this, where people really don't know, and they're afraid to eat healthy because you're not sure if it's enough. You're afraid to go to the gym because you're not sure, one, if you're going to hurt yourself, post pregnancy, but during pregnancy, I think there's a lot of potential misinformation out there. I don't want to say all of it's, obviously all of it's not wrong, but there's some out there that don't even have a clue, and they'll try to advise you on what you should do. Like, she can tell you more on this. Like,
Something that really was big for me is, my OB the entire time. Every time I would mention fitness or the gym, and just trying to get like her input on it, on symptoms that I was having as far as every leg day, like my blood pressure would tank. I would get sick and go throw up. We pretty much had to cut out leg day almost the entire pregnancy because of how like it would put me down. Like I would be in the bathroom every single time, lightheaded, and then I couldn't do anything. So we at first tried to take out like big compound moves, squats, leg presses, and me just do like what I consider accessory movements like extensions and lunges, that's little things like that that don't involve that much weight. And still, I was still getting sick. But I tend to push myself pretty hard. Do you have something you want to say on that?
yeah, well, at first we really didn't know what the issue was, but the more that she tried to do these leg workouts, I don't know if it's for the fact, for instance, I recall it happened a lot. She would get sick after leg press, and we like to use a composite leg press. So you lay down,
Mm.
and it's when she got up is when that would really hit her. So it took us a while to understand that's what the problem was. And then once that set in, that kind of ruined her entire day, so to speak, in the gym because it made it dreadful for her because every leg day she was getting severely sick.
Even bending over to attach cables to do leg kickbacks, going from that downward to upward position, it got to the point to where I was getting sick on that too. So it was just easier for me to kind of use hiking as the alternative for legs, which I know it's not, didn't really help me reach my goals, but it did help me stay active throughout my entire pregnancy as far as using my legs and working my legs. But where I was going with that mainly is, reaching out to my OB, she go swimming. That's pretty much what we heard every time. If I would say, this is what I'm having, like, go swimming. I'm getting sick, go swimming. Um, there was never anything encouraging me to actually stay active in the gym as far as weightlifting. Um, However, we took it upon ourselves. I knew it's something I wanted to do. I wasn't going to hurt my baby. I wasn't going to hurt myself. So we went in there and we took into consideration how my body was feeling. Like, however I feel, you may not feel the same when you're doing it. So, I trained pretty heavy. An example on that, rack pulls. I posted a video of me doing rack pulls with um, 2 plates per side, and for me that was a lot. That was easy. I had got up to 4 plates right before I had the baby, or right before we got pregnant with the baby. So for me, 2 plates was nothing. For you, 2 plates may sound like a lot. So I guess my main thing with that is don't set your limitations on other people because you don't know what theirs is, and you shouldn't judge anybody for being into the gym. The entire pregnancy that I was in, while we were in there, I was constantly getting, I wouldn't call it like hate messages or it's just comments that were
Discouraging.
very discouraging, saying, "Is that safe for your baby? Or are you still doing that? Should you really still be doing that?" Um, it's just because you're young. My favorite is, "Oh, you just wait. You just wait until the third trimester. You just wait until Easton's here. You're definitely not going to be able to do it then. It's too hard." Like that's your opinion. At the end of the day, my main goal is to compete, and it's been something that I've wanted to do now for 2 years. Um, Shoo! I get emotional.
It's okay.
Tell them about last year, because I can't.
All right. So, well, I think we should move into that a little bit later and just make this. So, we kind of want to make this like a little introductory as to what we're going to do, and we've kind of hit on it a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you about what's safe to do in the gym, what you probably shouldn't do. I can give my advice on when you should start to change this or that around, and then we'll talk about food as well. We'll take questions on anything related to this. And she mentioned she has videos on Instagram. We have a lot of reels
Mm-hmm.
on and video and just post on Instagram about her training. Um, you can see what she was doing as Easton continued to grow. She was still in there pushing weight, and there's absolutely, unless your doctor tells you you may need to be on bed rest, you don't need to be scared. And that's the main point of this video is the negativity that's out there and the negativity that she was hearing. It's unmotivating, it's discouraging, as she mentioned, and nothing needs to be that way. I mean, you live your life. The opinions of other people that honestly don't know what's right or what's wrong is something you should try to avoid. And that's why, again, we want to do this because I think I have I'm pretty knowledgeable about fitness, and I've taken the time over the years to learn about nutrition and pregnancy and training and pregnancy, and that's again what we're going to put out there for you guys. And honestly, just any questions that come along the way. And we've already kind of started this with the questions, and we have a couple that we're going to answer now. Um, one of those questions was, how do you change the food intake of someone during pregnancy and postnatal if they're breastfeeding. So what I've always done with that during pregnancy, with her, we that first trimester was it was pretty good with the amount of the food that she never had. She did not eat bad. She There were points she had cravings, but you can tell me what your cravings were. Um,
I think a biggie that we added in since I did start struggling with ground turkey and things was just to try to get some things in was like I did a salmon bowl, but I didn't add all the extra junk into it. Like it was just the leanest things you could add into it, considering it's so high in fat. But so we did salmon bowls, and then I tried chicken bowls. Like bowls were the biggest thing that I could, and by bowls I mean like a taco aspect. That was a biggie that I was able to add in and eat. But honestly, with cravings, I don't really think I had any.
Not any bad foods, just pickles, pickle juice, olives, all of that.
Oh, olives, yeah.
But nothing bad. Like no cravings for junk food, which we've always had our weekly cheat where we take one meal out of the weekend and or one like 8 to 12 on Saturday and just eat whatever. We kept that in, and um, that's another thing we'll touch on. Like she didn't gain a lot of weight during the pregnancy, and she didn't suffer. Like she didn't do anything that was unhealthy at all for the baby. Um, that second trimester is the only problem that she had, and there's absolutely nothing she could have done about that. And then once we got into that third trimester, things started to kind of shift around. She was able to bring back in more foods that were high on the in terms of protein, healthy fats,
Mm-hmm.
and carbohydrates. And now things are just completely different from another aspect. And so I know that we've kind of jumped all over the place right here with this first video, but we're just doing this in raw format. Um, so whatever comes to our mind, we're kind of just talking about it. But I'll kind of end today with answering those two questions. And that one first one was, how do you alter food around for someone who is pregnant and also postnatal when they're breastfeeding? So the people in fitness that go through pregnancy is a little different to me than people, just your average person, because as long as I've done this, the average person probably eats 2 to 3 times per day. So for her, what we did during pregnancy is, like I said, she kept most of her foods in the first trimester as she could. But as time went on, we pushed it up a little bit more. And then that third trimester, we took it up even more. And then postnatal, when, Easton was born and she's in the gym and, she's constantly giving me feedback of how she's feeling with hunger levels and this and that, then we push the food up. So breastfeeding, obviously the protein content, I've taken it up. The carbohydrate content is based on the goals right now, it's a little lower. Fat content can go up and come down, but the main thing right now is that her protein intake is on the high level. Overall, she's probably on low 16 to 17, mid 1700 calories right now with that one cheat meal per week. And has that affected her breast milk? There's other factors that have affected her breast milk, which we also want to talk about as time goes on. There's just a lot here that I think we'll be able to shed light on. Um, so if any of you want to jump in with us and take this journey, you know, we're still continuing to learn what's going to happen. Um, you know, every day, each week, something new pops up with either training or nutrition, and that's where we're at on it.
I threw a curveball too, though, and decided that literally the week of 6 weeks, I was going to sign up for a transformation challenge through One Up that they host. Um, so we've pretty much went hard with that right out the gate. And again, that's my decision. That was my goal. So that kind of bounces back on some things we're going to talk about in the next videos about people's opinions on um, being young and the bounce back, and I don't think it's a bounce back if it's something that you worked for the entire pregnancy. You didn't drop the
Yeah.
ball, regardless of how tired you were, But that's definitely, obviously, a can of worms for me to open up at a later video.
Yeah. So her work ethic, her drive, her determination through it all, it never wavered. Like if she could get to the gym, she was going to the gym. There was no stopping her. Like we said, she was in there knowing that she was going to be sick. She still got in there and pushed as hard as she could push. So it is like we've said before, like it's really disappointing and honestly pisses me off that people that have no idea want to try to dictate or tell you what you can and cannot do while you're pregnant. The limitations you may want to put on yourself is obviously up to you, but she was willing to do whatever she could to stay as healthy as she could to maintain the muscle that she could during the pregnancy, but also to make sure that Easton was healthy the entire way too. And that
I don't know if y'all saw our baby boy, but he is
I'm
very
gonna
healthy.
I'm gonna bring him over here. Uh,
He's about to get mad.
yeah, he's but he was absolutely nothing wrong with this boy when he was born. He was she actually had to be induced because they thought he was going to be around
10 is what she said he was going to
yeah,
come out as. 10.
she thought 10 at first, but here we are. Um,
What, buddy?
so at the end of the day, we just wanted to kind of get things started here. Any advice from any of you on this or tips if you've done something like this before, we would happily take it. But we're just trying to throw out some education to those that don't know because you're going to hear it. And just in the fitness lifestyle in general, the things that you're going to hear where your family, your friends, coworkers, they are all very unsupportive of you. I know this firsthand, and I hear it all the time. Being a coach, you hear all these stories about how you can't get any support, and it's hard to find. So if you're that person and you have no support, you will find people on social media like us that I try to motivate, educate, and she's like we said, she's not heavy on social media, but she puts her training videos out there to show, you know, what what she's capable of, and everybody out there is capable of the same thing. You just have to have the want, you have to have the will, and put all the negatives behind you, and understand that if you have a goal that you want to reach, there should be nothing that could stop you. Because at the end of the day, it's you versus you, not you versus somebody else.
I think a big thing too to kind of wrap all that up is a lot of people are going to make comments about what you're doing. So as long as you feel comfortable doing it and your body is not in any harm, you don't feel, you know, something that I keep preaching is pregnancy is not a burden. If anything, pregnancy makes you stronger. It is okay to push your body a little bit while you're pregnant. You don't have to go in there and just do cardio. Like, you can put a little strain on yourself. It's not going to hurt you. I promise you. Like, your body is a lot stronger than what you think. Um, and you just got to give yourself a little credit with that. And people are going to judge you. It doesn't matter what you do. If you sit at your house and you gain 80 pounds, people are going to judge you. If you go to the gym and you don't gain a pound, people are going to judge you. People are going to have something to say. People are going to say you didn't gain that weight because you're in your 20s.
And you're starving yourself, you're starving your baby.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Heard all that. Or because you're with a personal trainer. That's why you didn't gain any weight. Like, nobody sees all the work that you put in yourself. So you just have to remind yourself that you stuck to it and that you made that happen. Um, but regardless of what you do, it's your body. That's kind of the end message with all that is don't be afraid to work out while you're pregnant. Don't be afraid to put your body under a little bit of strain. It's fine. You are fine. Now, obviously, that's different. If you've been somebody that's had multiple miscarriages in the past, um, you do need to be bedridden. That's different. Light cardio and things for you, that's a biggie as is. You don't have to go in there and go hard in the paint like I do. But that's what my body was used to. So for me, honestly, my hips ached so much more on the days that I just stayed home in bed. Like the the ending part, that I think I went up until even the day that we went in to be induced, which was just a week before he was born or would have been born.
Yeah.
I was still going to the park and walking because for me, laying in the bed hurts my body because it's not what I'm used to. I'm a very active person.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
your baseline is what you build off of during pregnancy. But as far as lifting weights and things like that, my upper body, I didn't go down with anything. Um, and I mean that by the pounds that I was lifting. Like honestly, I'm able to still lift what I was able to lift before, minus, you know, anything with legs, and then rack pulls, which was one of my big moves that I liked to do. Those have went down, but that was because we did that due to the pregnancy to be safe. But as far as like arm moves, shoulders, all day, could do that all day.
So we're gonna shut it down here for today. He's probably about to take over the show with him talking to you, but we appreciate anybody that's taking the time to listen to what we said so far. If you're somebody that knows another person that is about to become pregnant or is pregnant or even post pregnancy, and share this video with them, like we both said, we'll do whatever we can to shed some light on everything that she went through, we went through. Um, and I'll put our social media links in here because we do put a lot of information up there too. And if you want to see what she's doing now, you know, after she's had Easton, she's in this transformation contest, and she's posting her journey on there. So if you need some motivation, there you go. And I'm always trying to post what I can when it comes to training videos, how to do this, how to do that, before and after pictures, and then just whatever I can do to support her and also anybody else that I'm coaching. But we hope that everyone has a great Sunday, and before you may not even see this till Sunday is gone, but whatever time of day it is for you, we hope that it's a great one, and the remaining days of your week are also just fabulous. Thank you guys.
Say bye.